All right, and we are live. Welcome, everybody. This is the episode 1 of Live with Ranier. So this is a talk show based off of the Asian male, non-Asian female community. We're going to go ahead and talk to individuals who are within our community who are doing things that are amazing, people who have great opinions. We want to go ahead and start a discussion. Now, today we have a special treat. For our first episode, we have Asian male actor, Jason Michael Fong. He's been acting for quite some time. He's been doing a lot of work. So I wanted to go ahead and pick his brain and just see sort of his experiences working as being an actor, the different challenges he's faced. So let's go ahead and welcome him here. Hello, hello.
Hey, what's going on, Ranier? Good to be here. Thank you so much.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Doing great. How are you doing?
Very good. I'm a little warm in this room, but I think I'll manage. Okay, so first question over here. So you've been acting for quite some time now. You have over a decade of experience singing and acting, modeling. Could you pinpoint the sort of exact moment where you were like, oh my God, I'm going to be an actor, I'm going to do this thing? What was that one moment where it's sort of just like, aha, I'm going to do this?
It's funny. It's hard to really pinpoint one moment, but I do have to say that when I first started out, I was doing some theater. I was doing musical theater. And just being up on stage for the first time, even though it was like some community theater type of thing, it just felt right. It felt great to get that instant gratification of the audience applauding and that sort of thing. And I just think the multiple experiences of just being on set, I just know that's just a great feeling. I love being on set. If there's anything else going on, I'd rather be on set. So it wasn't a single experience as much as it was a cumulative experience. So.
Yeah, so it sort of just built up, and you sort of realized, okay, over time, like it's been getting better, so I'll go ahead and go on with this thing.
Right. The approach was kind of like, let's just see where this goes. Let's see where I can take this. And when you get that positive feedback and jobs start coming in, then you're like, okay, well, maybe I'll stick with that.
Yeah. And do you think that the path of an Asian man going into acting, at least in America, do you think that path differs? Do you think that it's harder? Do you think it's easier in some aspects? So how do you think it differs from someone else who might not be Asian or Asian male?
Right. Good question. Overall in the big picture, I think acting is a very tough business. I mean, there are so many people that want to do it, and really in the bigger picture, so few opportunities really. Yeah. And I think it's tough for anybody of any background. But yes, I think there are some special considerations for an Asian American male. The odds are kind of stacked against you. I don't want to be negative about it because things are looking up, as you can tell from TV and cable and movies. Things are looking up, but I think it's always been, from my perspective or from my opinion, sort of a one step forward, 5 steps back kind of thing. Just for example, shows like Dads, which was canceled, thankfully, but Dads or Two Broke Girls, right? Right. For every John Cho, you get about 5 Hans, from
exactly.
a Two Broke Girls kind of show. So I think, you have to deal with the opportunities that are available to you, and you have to kind of work within those parameters. So that makes it a challenge.
So on the subject of those sort of negative Asian characters like Han from Two Broke Girls, have you ever personally been offered stereotypical roles like that, or do you think that is sort of an inevitable thing for Asian guys, or do you think that happens for all people of color, or how do you feel about that?
Right. It's funny because I think personally I've been pretty lucky. I haven't had too much of a problem with those really extreme kinds of roles or offers. But it is kind of funny because, as I was telling you before we started the call, that I do a lot of work in the Bay Area. Well, there's a lot of Bay Area tech companies, and so one of the roles that a lot of the Asian actors, our community, goes out for are these technology guys or doctors or those kinds of roles. And that's not a negative thing per se, but it's just kind of funny. It's just kind of funny to notice that when I show up, there's a bunch of other Asian guys, the usual suspects. We all kind of know each other, and we're like, hey, we're here for the IT guy. Are you here for the IT guy? Yeah, I'm here for the IT guy. How about you? I'm here for the doctor. And that's fine. And that's okay. I think that reflects reality more than a Han type. That's very extreme. That's very extreme. But I would say maybe twice I've been asked to do like the accent, and we all know what that accent means. I'm doing the stupid air quotes, but I think we all know what that means. And I'm not opposed to doing an accent if it's appropriate for the role and it's not being part of a punchline.
Yeah.
But I did, in one instance, I did tell the person, you know what, I would probably that accent simply because I'm born here in America. I don't have that accent. I would actually have to practice that accent. And they were fine with it. They were like, okay, let's just do it straight, So I did it without the accent, and I booked the role. So but I've been lucky that way.
In terms of, you're saying how you go to these castings and you sort of a reunion of all the Asian guys.
Right.
I mean, I'm really curious to know, like, we see John Cho and Steven Yeun and Han. We see these guys on TV, but I'm curious to know, what is sort of the backlog? Like, how many guys show up in that casting? How many Asian guys are actually really out there trying to get jobs in show business and acting that we don't know about? Is it just a group of 10 guys, or is it hundreds?
Yeah, I mean that's hard. That's a hard figure unless you run some kind of a survey. But we're out there, and if the casting call calls for an Asian man, and it is funny, over the years you see the same guys all the time. So but I have to be honest. I've been lucky. I've been good at sometimes I go out for roles that are non-Asian specific, and I'm the only Asian guy in the room, and the rest of the room is made up of Caucasians or African Americans, and that's kind of, I don't know, even to this day I kind of smile to myself about that, because it's kind of like, okay, good, somebody out there is sending, somebody like maybe my team is sending me out there. And they're open-minded about it. They're open-minded, and they're saying, you know what, this guy's got whatever skills they think I have to go ahead and go out for roles that aren't specific to my ethnicity, which I think is great, and that's the direction it should be moving in.
In regards to when you first started acting, did you have any pushback from your family or from friends who wanted to sort of impose the sort of expected Asian career path, like, oh, how come you're not being an accountant, or how come you're not doing engineering? Did you ever get that, or did you have pretty consistent positive support?
Of course, yeah. I am the exception to the rule. My folks. It's funny that you say accounting, because that's what my folks wanted me to do, and. I remember when I was in high school, there was an accounting course, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take it to see what it's about, so that my parents can see that at least I looked at accounting. Yeah. And even though I got a great grade, I found it completely boring. And I'm not saying it's useless. I'm just saying it's boring. So I did get that pressure. My mom wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Of course.
Yeah, right. And it's very typical. We could write a comedy about it right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still get some pushback from loved ones, but not to the extent of hard pressure and all that. They see that I'm working. So.
Yeah. Good. So it's not completely turning you off from it.
Right.
So my next question is about. Over the last few years, you've seen a lot of Asian guys really take some progress in, their visibility in the media, whether it's TV, whether it's film. And for me, I think at least part of it I like to attribute to the success of Asian men on YouTube. I mean, you see a lot of guys like Ryan Higa or Freddie Wong, and you see guys who are very marketable and they have a huge audience, which is sort of a counter argument to the common phrase of, oh, we just don't want to cast Asian guys because no one's going to watch them. But evidently, here they are on YouTube and everyone wants to watch them. Right. So do you feel like social media and sites like YouTube, do you think that helped in any way for yourself, for your career? Do you think it played any part?
For me personally, I think I kind of missed that boat, because I'm from a different generation. Certainly, it's kind of helping me now as far as getting my materials out there, and it helps me make some connections, that for sure. But yeah, going back to what you were saying about like Ryan Higa and all that, I think it had a tremendous effect on the industry, because really, I think race is a factor, but I think it's less of a factor than numbers, right? Hollywood wants to see those numbers, and if you come like Ryan Higa or the Fong brothers or Wong Fu Productions, if you come forward with your pre-built audience, you're coming forward with your own audience already that Hollywood didn't have to spend any marketing dollars gathering. They're going to go, oh, well, hey, maybe we need to look into that audience and tap into those numbers. I'm not saying that race isn't a factor. I think that can still be problematic, but I do think that coming from YouTube with these followers is something that helps, and I think to some extent, from a mainstream point of view, that studios and executives are getting a little more open-minded.
That's great. Cool. Do you feel like it poses any competition, or do you think it's like, oh, they're taking jobs from the guys who are actually trying to get into acting, or do you think that's like totally separate?
I personally, this is just my personal opinion. I don't believe in the concept of competition amongst actors. I think that I believe in collaboration above competition, because we're all in it together. We're all in the same boat, so to speak.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. So and I think we only grow more powerful as more representatives are out there doing their thing. And hopefully there will come a time where I can come around full circle and collaborate with somebody as big as these YouTube stars, and that would be fun. I think that's the way to get the foot in the door, really, is these guys creating their own content and doing their thing.
Now, speaking on collaboration, I want to go ahead and talk about your work in Hawaii Five-0. So in 2013, you starred alongside Daniel Day Kim. Now, I know personally that Hawaii Five-0 is fantastic when it comes to casting Asian men. So you have, Daniel Henney, you have Mazioka, you have Ian Anthony Dale, Kelvin Han Yi, and also yourself. And seeing so many actors, Asian male actors, in one show, I mean, it's crazy. Like it's so different that I'm almost like skeptical. Like, oh, like what's going on? But I want to know. I mean, why is it that this one show gets it right and other shows do not? Is it because they're set in Hawaii, which is has a huge Asian population, or do you think casting was just very mindful and just was open to the idea of having more diverse Asian characters? What do you think that show does that others fail at?
Right. I think it's a combination of all those things you mentioned. Especially that it's in Hawaii. It's kind of like you almost have no choice but to be authentic if you're going to cast something in Hawaii. If the show was just all Caucasian, it would be ridiculous. Nobody would buy it. Even Caucasians wouldn't get it. They wouldn't buy it. They'd be like, no, that's not true. And I also think that the casting, I know the casting director, she's awesome, and I know that she's looking for talented, diverse cast members. The makers of the show, I think they're highly cognizant of that that demand for authenticity, and I think they do as much as they can to honor that. And you mentioned Ian Anthony Dale and all those guys. Man, they're all 10 times, 100 times more handsome than I am. But whatever. I'm just honored to be I was honored to be a part of that, a small part of that. But yeah, I think that's why why they get it right, is because it's Hawaii, and I think that they understand that the audience is going to demand authenticity. I know a lot of people that are from Hawaii, and I know that they talk to me about the show anytime they get a chance, and they say, hey, it's cool that so and so's on there because at least they're showing some diversity, and I agree with that. And they're paying attention. The audience is paying attention, and Hawaii is paying attention. So yeah, I think that's why they do as well as they do.
Do you think there's I mean, I guess it's sort of a hard question to ask, but at least at this time right now, do you think there is sort of the template for the type of Asian guy that Hollywood needs that would actually really thrive? Because I know that the types of characters that filter in and out that become popular, it's really random. It could be 5 years ago you have Twilight or whatever, and then you have a bunch of white guys with blonde spiky hair or whatever. Do you think
Right.
there is a particular Asian guy that is more marketable than others? What do you think sort of will make that guy the one?
Wow, that is a tough question, right? Because I feel like there's not enough examples out there as far as Hollywood is concerned, as far as giving them a chance. So we haven't seen a lot of different types. But well, Hawaii Five-0, like I said, they have all the handsome dudes, all the hot dudes. So I don't know. That's making it hard for everybody else to get in there. But it's a tough question because before. Again, going back to the Han, I don't want to go back to Han too much, but going back to that guy, that's been the template, right? That's been the template for forever. And if you see an Asian at all, that's the kind of character you see, right? And
Exactly.
And that's terrible because if those are the opportunities, I'm not going to get on someone's case for taking that opportunity. I know other people would argue with that, but it's like the guy's got to eat. You know what I'm saying? But it's problematic, right? I mean, you and I both know that's problematic. We can't continue to take that. I don't know what I would do in that situation. Honestly, if I'm sitting here right now without the opportunity in front of me, I would tell you right now I'd turn it down. But who knows? 5 years from now. But okay.
Like if
anyway.
you were cast as like Han 2 and you were like out of a job for like a year, like do you think you'd take it?
You never know, right? I mean, it's like, well, do you use that as a stepping stone, you know what I'm saying, to do bigger and broader things? Because maybe you get that money, you get that recognition, and maybe you make those contacts and create that network, and then you can say, okay, I know this kind of sucks for my people, but I can use this, I can leverage this and turn it into a positive. I don't know. Maybe that's an option. Or I might just say, no, I'm not going to take that. Whatever. I can't really tell right now. But as far as the template goes, right now, I would venture to say the template's kind of that John Cho kind of template, because he's kind of been the one to cross over various barriers or various I should say genres. The comedies, the Harold and Kumar trilogy. I mean, that's awesome. He did comedy, and then he did American Pie too. But he did comedy, and then he moved on to Star Trek to be the iconic Sulu, and then he's in Selfie, and it's kind of like John Cho's got that everyman thing going.
Yeah, right.
And maybe that's what the template needs to be. And even what's his name from Walking Dead? Is it Steven Yeun?
Yes.
Is that right? Yes. So he's almost kind of an everyman as well, kind of just like the next door Asian guy who's not the total math genius, but he's not like total like socially awkward. You know what I'm saying? He's not like one or the other. He's just right down the middle that people can relate to.
Got it. So he's sort of the guy down the middle, and
right.
probably the the non-stereotypical non-kung fu
Right,
Asian,
right.
the non-kung fu Asian guy, that will probably happen within another 20 years or something.
Right, right. The non-con, yeah, he doesn't do kung fu and he doesn't do computers. He's just that guy
Yeah.
that, gets up in the morning, walks the dog, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I think I'm at least right now, I'm really attentive to see how his character resonates and whether or not Hollywood is like, hey, this relatable Asian dude character is working with The Walking Dead and it's working with Selfie.
Right,
We need more of that. Hopefully that
right.
happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so one of your personal projects, one of the first things that I saw of you was a short film called Office Romance.
Yeah.
Now, it's sort of this short, dark film, but it also stars a interracial relationship.
Hmm.
Now, given that you wrote it had fantastic acting and cinematography, and it was really humorous as well. Since you wrote it, was that interracial part an aspect of the script, or was the interracial component just a side effect of just casting and the female role just so happened to be non-Asian?
Right. I'd like to say that it was intentional, but it wasn't necessarily something that I thought about. It was really about casting the best actress for the role. But in general, when I do my own projects, I do try to cast a wide net and make sure to introduce and include all different ethnicities as much as possible. So I do try to, in general, include a lot of underrepresented people, like myself, obviously. So yeah, and she and I'd worked together before on a previous project, so I kind of knew what her skill level was. I still had her audition, and she really knocked it out of the ballpark. So she got the part. But yeah, it was kind of a side effect. But I think it's I will say this. I do try to intentionally write leading parts for myself, obviously, for two reasons. One, obviously, to make myself a lead character and be able to play something that I want to play, and two, to sort of put an Asian guy out there who can represent this kind of character, this lead character that and is not in the background and is not a sidekick.
Correct.
So there is a little bit of an agenda there, right?
Hidden.
And yeah, right. And it has to be. There has to be. That's the only reason why you would do that. And I mean, Hollywood has an agenda too, so we can't deny that. So.
Now, in terms of if this worked out, and if you sort of have this, I mean, not like an overt plan to say, hey, we're only going to do interracial. If we wanted Hollywood to step up their game and include more interracial couples between Asian men and non-Asian women, do you think that either casting just has to be sort of colorblind and they just sort of, cast the net and they're just open to whoever? Do you think that is the best way to go about introducing those interracial couples, or do you think they have to specifically write it in? Because I know that for you it might have been one case, but do you think that's the case for for other TVs and TV shows and film? Do you think that they have to purposely write in that interracial component?
Right. I think there's a lot of different components, a lot of different factors that are involved. Certainly the writing. Certainly the writing is a good start. I think it does have to be kind of spelled out, and certain individuals along the decision-making chain need to be open-minded, and they have to be risk takers and be in positions of power. And that's two important things. They have to be risk takers and be powerful. If you have one and not the other, then someone else is going to veto the idea.
Yeah.
And I think it does start with. It really starts with the writing. It starts with there, and then it has to go down. Like I said, it has to go down this chain. I'm not completely familiar with who's all involved in those kinds of things, but studios get involved, the executives get involved, various decision makers get involved, and that's when things like decision by committee starts to affect the artistic message. And so it has to go through those channels. I think though that, and again, going back to the YouTube stars and stuff, that has been a really great way of affecting change. It seems like a side door kind of strategy. I think things like what you're doing, you're creating your own content, things that I'm doing, creating my own content, you really have to kind of take the reins and write your own stuff. If you want to see a change out there, you have to just go for it and do it on an independent level, even if it doesn't get Hollywood's attention right away. I think you're adding to the cultural, cultural whole or cultural bigger picture, and that you're getting those messages out there on your own. I want to bust out this quote from this article that I read, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
I've never met this actress, but her name is Rosalind Coleman Williams. And she said she wrote this article, and there's this great line from the article, and it says, "When the gift that an artist has is underserved by their opportunities, it is time to create their own work." And I think where she was coming from is that she had, and I can't quite remember all the details, but she had come off of a big show, and I think she only had a few lines in that show, but she kind of related the whole experience of preparing for that role and being so ready for that role and getting on there and just doing her 5 lines or whatever, and then just going home and boom, that's it. That's all she had, and it really didn't. I don't think for her it didn't affect the change that she, it didn't make the difference that she felt it should have, and so she's really big on creating her own work. And I hope I'm not misinterpreting her article. If she's listening to this or she hears this, I don't mean to misinterpret her article, but that's kind of what I gathered from it, is that these little bit parts are not enough. You have to really take the reins and create your own work. And I'm a big proponent of that, and that's why I salute you for doing your thing. This is your first show, and I think you should continue doing this to get your voice heard. And anybody who has a story to tell, get out there and get your voice heard.
Yeah, and I think that it's really important right now, especially since you're seeing a lot of Asian Americans who are branching off, going back to one of our original questions about branching off and not doing sort of the expected Asian accounting job or the engineering job. And it's nice to see some of them going into acting, and some going into cinematography, and some of them going into script writing. And you'll start to see, hopefully within the coming years, the next 10 years or 5 years, that culmination of all that talent of all those Asian people who are like, okay, I'm good at writing, I'm good at acting, and hopefully, they do create their own channels, they do create their own sideways, because it does seem that, shooting down the middle and just going and trying to, land a spot in the Avengers as, the Asian Hulk or whatever, is not exactly going to be our best option. It seems like our best option is to sort of, forge our own path.
Right, and that's really important. It's going to come down to the community working. Again, like I said, I value collaboration over competition, and there are, I'm not saying there's a lot of them, but I've bumped into some Asian American actors that are very competitive, and they take that attitude of, no man, you go get yours, I got mine, you go get yours. Don't try to roll up on my part. This is my part. I'm going to go to this audition and I'm going to get this part. That's only 1 or 2 that I've bumped into, but they are out there, and I think we have to get away from that. And I think just as actors in general, we have to get away from that and just collaborate. Now is the best time, because it's the whole YouTube thing. It's still fresh. It's still new. Cameras are getting cheaper. So get together, collaborate, and make stuff. Tell your stories and help each other. You're not going to get up there by yourself. You can't do it alone. So.
Got it. And especially since having such a marginalized group, I mean, all of us collectively will do a much better job than just one guy.
Sure.
So my next question is, touching base off of your project Office Romance, which did star the interracial relationship. I know that on the topic of interracial dating, you do have a little bit of news for our viewers. Do you want to say that?
Oh, that I'm off the market. That I'm married. Yes, I've been married for a while now. Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry. Sorry, all the new fans, unfortunately, you'll have to watch from afar. You'll go ahead and watch his projects. You'll go ahead and watch Office Romance again and again. And you'll put it on repeat. Hopefully that will suffice.
But yeah, I mean, I have experience, with interracial dating and all that, though, from my past. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how long have you been married?
Wow. Let's see. Maybe about has it been like 12 years or so?
12
Yeah.
years?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I didn't expect it that long, but that's and personally, on behalf of the whole entire community, even though I know that this, my blog and my groups, they are catered to interracial relationships, I am in full support, and I think that all of the viewers are in full support of you, even though we know that you are in a relationship with a woman who's Filipino. Is that correct?
Right. Yes, correct. Yes.
And so again, we just want to stress that we're in full support of that. But what I did want to go ahead and pick your brain about was in regards to interracial dating and how it was before. Do you think race ever played an issue when it came to dating? Do you think it was ever an issue? Do you think it was something that you even had to consider?
No, it's the heart wants what the heart wants. So whatever the race, it doesn't matter. It didn't matter when I was dating people when I was younger, and it shouldn't matter. If really, attraction's an energetic thing, right? It's internal, and whatever the color is, it shouldn't matter. If you guys connect, then it doesn't matter. And if it happens to be the same race, cool, whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I should say ethnicity, because really there's only one race, right?
Yeah.
Human race. So as long as you're cool with that human, then make that connection. Make that connection. If you're not cool with humans, then that's a whole other show. That's a whole other topic. But yeah, I mean, hey, love is love, right? So wherever you find it,
When do you think that in terms of interracial dating, do you think did your friends feel a certain way about it? Because it seems like you're always very open about it. It seems like as you're saying, the heart wants what the heart wants. Do you feel like, I mean, compared to your other Asian male friends, whether it's now or whether it's back in the days, I think there's a lot of wondering of do Asian guys like interracial dating? Are they open to it? And I want to know from your perspective, what it was like for you. Did you grow up with guys who were open about it, or if they were hush-hush about it?
You're making me think back here. I think at the time, I didn't think anything of it myself, so it just wasn't a big deal to me. But I think Asian guys around me, I don't know what they felt really, to be honest with you. I think a lot of the guys that I knew, they did kind of stay within the Asian dating pool, and that's fine. That's cool. If that's how they were, that's how they were raised, or if that was their preference, that's cool. It wasn't like I didn't seek out different races on purpose, like, oh, I have this fetish.
Yeah.
I need to get me that that other thing, that different thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I didn't limit myself. I didn't close myself off. The funny thing is, though, I think a lot of the Asian girls back in the day didn't like me very much. Mostly the non-Asian girls tended to like me more. So I don't know.
If you had to say, I mean, just to throw it out there, did you have, aside from, since you're saying that you didn't have too much luck from Asian girls, did you have better luck or better reception from another group of women?
Yeah, Caucasian women, actually.
Where did you grow up? Where did you grow up? You want to tell the audience?
Oh yeah, Sacramento, California. So yeah.
There you go. So if you're an Asian guy, go to Sacramento. You might have a little bit more luck. All right.
The younger generation seems to be more open, so I don't know. You might have a lot of luck wherever you are. Who knows?
There you go. Now, my last question for you is, what are you working on right now, and what can we go ahead and expect from you, Jason?
Okay, well, we finished filming a sequel to Office Romance. It's another short film, and it's an action comedy. Pretty excited about this one. It was a script that I wrote before Office Romance, and that since Office Romance got done and it got pretty well received, I decided to kind of retrofit it to the characters from Office Romance and turn it into a continuing story. So that's in post production. Got my martial arts instructor to help out with the fight choreography on that. Yes, I know Kung Fu, and it's okay to know Kung Fu. And I'm writing another script to be a sequel to that one, so that it'll be a trilogy. And then I'm helping a friend with her script. And let's see what else. Yeah, and just that's about it right now. Just continuing on the grind, auditioning and doing that whole thing, and auditioning for whatever commercials and voiceover jobs and things like that. So.
Awesome. And do you want to tell everyone where they can find your work?
Yeah, well, you'd probably be better off going to my website because it's just an easier URL. Just go to www.jasonfong.com, and then there's going to be various links to my Twitter if you want to follow me, my Facebook page, and my YouTube channel. And right now I've got kind of a vlog thing going on my YouTube channel, and I throw everything up there. So right now it's kind of just a mishmash of topics, but maybe your viewers and maybe your followers will have some questions for me or something that can help me narrow my focus and put up some videos for everybody. So
awesome. Well, I want to go ahead and thank you, Jason, for coming on to the show. The very first show, it was a pleasure having you. So I want to go ahead and just do a quick recap. If anybody wants to go ahead and watch the show, it will be on a couple different platforms. First, you can find it on my Facebook page, The Love Life of an Asian Guy, or you can find it in our new AMXF Interracial Dating Facebook group, designed to be drama-free, designed to be thirst-free. So you can go ahead and check it out over there. I will go ahead and repost this video, the whole entire interview, as well as a couple links to some of Jason's work. So thank you, Jason.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ranier, and keep doing what you're doing.
All right, you too, Jason. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.